At this time, my brothers, on our miracle planet Earth, 2 million species of plants and animals have been discovered. That is, combining both plants and animals, there are 2 million species. This does not mean that the total number of creatures is 2 million. Out of these species, only humans are a single species, and just humans alone number around 7 billion in the world. This is how species are counted. Human, horse, crow, kite, ant, mule, you keep counting like this, one after another. Apart from humans, all other living things on earth, whether they are animals or plants, have about 2 million species. And these are just the ones that have been discovered so far. Scientists tell us that there isn't even a single square inch of this earth where there isn't some living thing. A square inch, that is, a box measuring 1 inch by 1 inch even, such a tiny space does not exist. That is empty of living creatures. You might say, but I don't see anything there. Sir, there are invisible creatures that you can see through a microscope. In fact, if we look at our own bodies under a microscope, all we see are bacteria everywhere feeding off our bodies. But right now, we can't see them with the naked eye. They are so tiny that there isn't even a single square inch where there isn't some living thing. So, just imagine, how many species must there be? And to what level does each species go? There are so many insects and bugs on earth that if every human being living on earth were given 200 million insects, each there are more than 100 people sitting here. And if I were to give each of you 200 million, that is 200 million to each of you. If I start allotting insects to each person and I allot them to all 7 billion humans, there would still be more insects than that on the face of the earth. Even the calculator would fail. Just try multiplying 200 million by 7 billion. A billion is such a huge number that if someone were to count non-stop 24 hours a day, it would take 25 to 30 years just to count to 1 billion. Obviously, there are 86,400 seconds in a day and night. Even if you count once every second, you still won't reach 100,000 in a day. And you have other things to do in between as well. Even if you leave everything else aside, you would still need that much time. Even if you count 100,000 times every day, it would still take you several years. To make up 1 billion, you would need these 7 billion humans, and for each person, there would be 200 million insects. Just try to calculate that, and that's just their number. Right now, my brother, we're not even discussing the qualities that Allah has placed within each species. I often give the example of the dragonfly. Leave humans aside, they are very complex. Take what we call a helicopter, for instance. The dragonfly is a tiny insect that flies in the air. In just one of its eyes, there are 25,000 lenses. And look at the egg it hatches. From it's as small as the tip of a ballpoint pen. All the creatures of the heavens and the earth combined could not create an egg from which a dragonfly could emerge. The eggs that hens lay, the eggs that pigeons lay, and the chicks that hatch from them, that's understandable. But no one can even imagine creating an egg like that. All the creatures of the heavens and the earth combined could not create a single seed that when sown in the ground would grow into a tree 6 billion times its size. If something can't be done by effort, how could it possibly happen on its own? And the climax of this creation is the human being. If we talk about humans, we would need an hour just to discuss the qualities. Allah has given them qualities that even humans themselves are unaware of. Now tell me, if we ourselves don't even know about these qualities within us, how foolish would someone have to be to claim that they themselves put these qualities inside, or that their parents did? Even our parents don't know about these things. Today, science tells us that our heart beats 100,000 times a day, 100,000 times, without any external pump, without any external force. And after beating 100,000 times, it pumps 10,000 liters of blood through our veins. The length of the veins in a single human body is so great that if you were to connect all the veins of one person, they could wrap around the earth 2.5 times. The circumference of the earth is 40,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers, those veins could circle the earth 2.5 times. For blood to reach all those veins, and for that blood to carry oxygen to every single cell, and the number of cells is not in the hundreds, thousands, millions or billions. There are 100 trillion cells in every human being. 1 trillion is 1,000. And an Arab is equal to 1,000 billion. And I've already told you how big an Arab is. So there are 100,000 Arab cells in every person's body according to scientists. That's why you simply can't clean them all. Let me put it simply. Imagine there are 30 countries like England. And in all those 30 countries, there are only trees growing. The number of leaves on those trees is about the same as the number of cells in a single human body. And don't think of a cell as just some ordinary thing. Inside a single cell, there are so many systems that you would need a space as big as New York City. If we ever had to create a single cell ourselves, with all the systems it contains, it's unimaginable. One can only say Allah is the greatest and all praise is due to Allah in abundance and glory be to Allah morning and evening. Now if you look into the field of astronomy, it just blows your mind. Today, thanks to telescopes, we have discovered so much. NASA's reports are displayed almost every day. My videos also keep appearing in them. Right now, according to NASA's latest discovery, there are 250 billion galaxies in this universe too. 150 billion. And I've already told you how huge a figure a billion is. In every galaxy, there are more than 300 billion suns, and one of those suns is ours. In our own galaxy, the Milky Way, there are about 300 billion suns like this, and that's just one galaxy. There are another 250 billion galaxies like it. Many scientists say that this number is so vast that the total number of stars and planets in the universe exceeds the number of grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. So no one can actually count them. And this is just what they have calculated. People often ask how they counted them well. They focus on a small area, estimate the number there, and then multiply it to get an overall figure. For example, if I tell you the size of a basket and how many eggs it can hold, and then ask how many eggs would fit in this entire hall, you would say, tell us the size of the hall and we'll multiply it to calculate the total. It's not like they count each one individual, otherwise it would take them millions of years to count everything. So they do an overall calculation. This is a separate, very vast topic. I have several videos on my YouTube channel about this subject. At the top of the list is a video I recorded almost 12 years ago in 2008. Is that right? Who is Allah? Considering the profound advancements and discoveries that have been made in the realm of contemporary scientific understanding and taking into account the comprehensive body of evidence and established principles that now define our knowledge of the natural world, it is imperative to approach this subject from the perspective illuminated by these modern scientific facts. Richard Dawkins has written a book called The God Delusion. I had done an academic critique of it. That is a video worth watching. The issue is Atheist 3B. Who created God? Who created Allah? If you search for these kinds of words, that video will appear for you on YouTube. Then, almost 2 years ago, I recorded a video titled Quran and Modern Science. That video is also available with English subtitles. In that video, which is almost 1.25 hours long, a Hindu brother raised an objection about the Holy Quran. In response, I gave a complete clarification explaining how you should approach the scientific facts mentioned in the Holy Quran. The Quran is a book of literature. It is not a book of science. However, it does discuss the physical phenomena of nature, so it should be understood in the language of literature. Regarding this, I addressed the various objections raised by non-Muslims and covered the overall doctrine in that context. Then, almost a year ago, a controversy arose about whether the earth is flat. I also made a detailed video on this topic in which I discussed several scientific facts. I think no one else has gone into such depth on this topic. Dr. Zakir Naik has maybe 1 or 2 lectures, and even those are quite superficial discussions. Resolving each critical issue one by one is a task for those whom Allah has chosen for this purpose. So I have several recorded videos on this subject from every angle. Then there was a discovery of the black hole years ago. I made a video on that as well. If you go to YouTube and search for Science and Engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza, all those videos will appear before you with hashtags. Start watching them one by one. Now this is all a favorite topic of mine. I could speak for another hour completely extemporaneously on these facts. But now almost half an hour is left, so I need to complete these verses as well. Overall, I wanted to tell you that this is not a trivial matter that Allah is mentioning the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of night and day. Even the coming and going of night and day is not a small matter. Today, because of the remarkable advancements in science, we now possess profound knowledge and understanding that people who lived before us had absolutely no idea about. Their deeply held faith was truly placed in the unseen, in matters and phenomena that we can now directly observe and meticulously study. The three major and fundamental motions that have been meticulously described regarding our earth, the very first of these significant motions is that the earth itself rotates around its own central axis at an astonishing speed of 0.5 kilometer per second. This means that in just one single second, it covers a considerable distance of 0.5 kilometer. And precisely because of this continuous and consistent rotation, our entire cycle of day and night is completely and perfectly fulfilled within a period of exactly 24 hours. In 1 second, so that's 0.5 kilometer, but this is 30 kilometers in 1 second around the sun. Who can even imagine such a speed? 30 kilometers in 1 second. This is 60 times faster than the speed of a bullet, 30 kilometers in 1 second. A bullet can cover 0.5 kilometer in 1 second, while the earth in 1 second travels 30 kilometers around the sun. That's why our year is completed in 365 days. These two motions are still somewhat imaginable, but the third motion on earth, along with the entire solar system and our sun, has been traveling toward a star called Vega at a speed of 200 kilometers per second for the past 15 billion years. Just consider the scale for a moment. That's why the distances in the universe are measured in light years, because everything else fails to capture their vastness. A light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year. And let me tell you, light doesn't travel at the speed of a horse or a bullet or even a missile. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. In just one single second, light at its incredible speed can circle the earth more than 7 complete times. 300,000 kilometers or 186,000 miles, because the circumference of the earth is 40,000 kilometers. So in 1 second, light can circle the earth 7 times. If light keeps traveling like this for a whole year, that distance is called 1 light year. When it comes to calculating a light year, even calculators fail. This is truly the work of Allah alone. Now tell me, when this is the introduction of Allah, then how can any so-called saint compare? When we talk about these things, those saints can't even describe them after watching our videos. So they say, oh, that saint is filled with anger. I am the earth and the sky, the earth. And you act as if you truly comprehend the immense size of the vast sky or the entire earth. You are merely fabricating stories and do not actually possess any real knowledge whatsoever. The way God has emerged, today take Allama Wahiduddin Khan from India, for example, who is almost 95 years old. He wrote a book called The God Arises. The way God has emerged in this latest world, especially after the discovery of scientific phenomena, right now, you're just starting to discuss the structure of the gene. What exactly are genes? And what is the process of reproduction in humans, plants and animals? This is such unbelievable data that no human could even imagine it. And it is so well managed that scientists tell us all these things are so finely tuned that if a ballpoint pen were to rest on its tip, it wouldn't be able to stand no matter how much you try to balance it. Even if it stood on its tip for 1 billion years. The balance in this universe is even greater than that. And if it were even slightly disturbed, the entire universe would be destroyed. A lot more could be said about this, but I will skip it for now. The rest, we hope from Allah that may He make it happen. The previous Quran was completed in 344 lectures. In 9 years, this time it seems it might reach around 400 or even 450 lectures. But I am trying to make sure that we discuss everything in depth. No one should be left with any sense of incompleteness, thinking that there was something else in this verse related to it that should have been briefly explained. As for the rest, hundreds of commentaries on the Quran have been written over the past 1400 years, and people will continue to explain it after us, because this book will never become outdated. Every new era reveals new aspects of the Holy Quran to people. So it is an unending matter. This is the book of Allah, not a book written by any human. And remember this, revealed scriptures never become outdated because they deal with human instincts. As for other books, if you look at them, after some time a new theory or a new description will emerge. New innovations come in and the old things become obsolete. You can see, even in our own lives, we have witnessed many things become obsolete. Take landline phones. For example, there used to be just one phone in the whole neighborhood, but after the advent of mobile phones, you would be hard-pressed to find even one landline in an entire city. But truly revealed books never become outdated or irrelevant, because the fundamental human instinct and inherent nature of people 10,000 years ago was precisely the same as it is today, and will undoubtedly remain consistently the same until the very end of time. This profound truth is what the Almighty Allah has inherently placed within our very nature and being. Parents, this society